Welcome to Let's Grow Buffalo, where today we're talking garlic. So today's episode is going to be a little bit more unique. I'm not going to show you how to plant these because I actually had to start these back in the fall. Garlic is a unique crop because you actually get the best results if you give it an early head start. So about 4 to 6 weeks before your first frost date. So I think that puts us maybe in October here in Western New York. Garlic is very similar to a lot of other vegetables where it prefers to have a loose, well-draining soil. This bulb is going to be growing underground, so it doesn't really want to sit in water for an extensive length of time. So I'm going to zoom in and show you a little bit more of the anatomy of the garlic bulb itself. So there's two main types of garlic that you could potentially buy and plant. One that's meant for more southern climates is a softneck type of garlic, and this right here, what I have, is a hardneck type of garlic. As you can kind of tell by the hard neck in the middle of it. So these tend to grow better in northern, colder climates, and like I said, a good 4 to 6 weeks before your first frost. So in the fall, you actually plant these in the ground. So if you look at the bottom down here, this is actually all stemming from a single clove of garlic, and then it eventually grew into all of these other bulbs. You can see right here, this is actually where all of the roots were once sticking out and into the ground, but they obviously cut it when they go to put it on the store shelves. So if you wanted to, you could buy this from a seed company and break it apart and plant it, or you can honestly get by just as well by doing this yourself, going to the store, getting a random old garlic, and planting it from there. You don't really have to worry as much about making sure it's certified disease-free or anything. So what you have to do is you actually have to start unwrapping the paper, unwrap the present here, and you have to start breaking apart individual cloves. You want to be careful not to do too much damage to them. But as you can see right here, I've got some very large, very well-formed bulbs. That's what you're going to be looking at putting in the ground come fall. You want to be careful not to rip all of the paper off the papery cover off the outside of this. And ideally, you're not going to rip so hard that you expose any of the normal flesh. You see it's got kind of the pointy side, and it's got kind of the flat side. You're going to actually plant it in your soil just like this, and you want to bury it up to the tip, give or take. If you plant this too early in the year, it's not necessarily an issue, but you can actually start to see these grow. And actually, you know, this past winter wasn't even that bad. These actually started to grow probably 4 or 5 inches before it started to really frost over and snow. It's no big deal. What you have to make sure you do, though, beyond your usual plant cover, water, and you do have to mulch. The easiest thing for me was actually use my bagger mower, chop up some leaves, and really lay it on thick over top of the seeds. So I probably put on a good 3 or 4 inches of just shredded leaves, and it worked fantastically as a mulch. So here we are now in midsummer, and these plants are growing pretty well. So let's take a closer look at a special feature this time of year. So ideally you want to space your garlic about 3 to 6 inches away from each other. That'll make sure that you get the most growth and most development out of the bulb, which is what you're actually going to be harvesting. Here I probably made a mistake and thought I was just planting a single clove when I really ended up planting 2. So I've got 2 separate plants here that are crowding one another. It's a little too late for me to do anything about it, but no big deal. It'll serve the purpose of what I'm trying to show here. So as with every plant, it really wants to reproduce and create seeds, scatter the 4 winds, and continue its lineage across the world. The garlic plant has this very unique flower, essentially, that's going to be growing out of it, called a garlic scape. Now, as time goes on, this is going to open up into a unique looking flower, create seeds, and scatter about. Nobody really uses garlic seeds to grow garlic itself. It's way easier when you just grow it from the cloves. So what this does is that it's actually taking energy away from the bulb to grow and try and reproduce via this method. So we don't want that. We want the energy to go to the bulb so we can get the biggest cloves of garlic that we possibly can. So what I'm going to do here, actually to all of my garlic plants, is just go in, kind of pull back a little ways. I don't want to rip any of the leaves that are on there. Make sure I have a nice pair of scissors and just give this a little snip. So the garlic scapes here are fantastic in using in other recipes. It does have kind of a garlicky, oniony flavor. So feel free to add them to compost if you really want to, but honestly, you might as well save them and throw them in one of your favorite dishes and just experiment with them. So that's it for today's episode of Let's Grow Buffalo. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, tell us how your growing is going, and if you got any questions for us, let us know. Until next time, gardening is a practice, and let's grow buffalo.